Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? Joker here. We're back. TGW number, what is it? 18, I think we're on here. 18,
Yeah,
something like that.
number 18.
Yeah, I was just looking at my my channel today for like the on the playlist or whatever. I got the TGW playlist on there, and I was like, damn, there's like 17 episodes on there already, and there's a couple missing. I have to go back and actually add some on the playlist because a couple I forgot to add. I always forget to do those little
Yeah,
things.
it's crazy, like we've done 18 episodes already, man. That's 18 weeks the tech has been gaming.
Weekly,
So, yeah, weekly.
and
It's been gaming.
we haven't missed one week yet.
No, we haven't. That's
Even
pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
even when you were in Australia, we kept it going on the go basically. Well, you are on the go.
That's it, man. We're dedicated to giving you guys the tech
Well,
on a weekly basis.
well,
That's basically what it is.
this series like also like kind of keeps me like centered for the week. Like I can plan my content around it because it's like okay, well I can try to do a video Monday or Tuesday. I was like, well I'll try to do one for Wednesday, but if not, like I've already got TGW for Wednesday. Like that's set. That's good for Wednesday, and then I can worry about the end of the week. And then on the weekend I usually shoot B-roll. But it's nice to have this the middle of the week to have some structure, so people can look forward to it at least.
Well, that's it. And then people can ask their questions if they're dying to get a question out. So
Yeah.
this and that. So, because I do answer as many questions as I can, but sometimes I just miss questions.
Yeah.
Like I don't,
So and
it's not
sometimes
like I'm,
I'll be on my phone and I'll be looking through comments and stuff on the app and I'll be like, oh, that's a question I can answer, and I'll be like, and I'll leave it there until I get back to my computer. But then by the time I get back to my computer, there's like 30 other comments and that one's gotten like washed away and I can't find it anymore. I'm just like, oh, I don't even know where this comment is.
just got buried. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So personal news. What's going on, man?
Well, I mean, I just got another 4K TV. I don't know if I mentioned that I got the other one. I got a 4K TV out for the living room. I was just telling you about this before the
Yeah.
stream.
The high
It's a 50-inch Hisense 4K TV, and it's only $548 at Walmart, and it's awesome. It's a smart TV, so it's got Netflix and Amazon on it, which does 4K. So I had one of those out in the living room, and 1080p content scaled up looks awesome, man. I've been watching Blu-rays on there, crystal clear, so good. And
Yeah, well, I'm telling you
picked up
now,
another
man,
one for the bedroom.
4K, like 4K is legit, man. I was a bit hesitant before because I had a 1440p monitor. I was like, oh man, 4K, I don't need 4K. Who needs 4K?
Well, I still
But
don't
then,
feel like I do for gaming, and I'm gonna do a video on this actually coming up soon. I wanted to do something like is 4K worth it for gaming as well as media consumption? Because right
it's
now,
worth it for everything.
well,
Like,
well,
short
I
answer.
guess it is, but I'm of the mindset right now that going from 1440 to 4K, as far as the way the games look, is not worth the performance hit to me. I would rather have better performance at 1440p, which definitely looks better than 1080. But for media consumption, watching movies and just having sheer screen real estate for like workflow, 4K is amazing. But
Yeah, it
I
is.
just don't need it for gaming personally right now because I can't see that much of a difference between that and 1440. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, there isn't the difference isn't as big as going from say
1080.
1080 to
Yeah,
1440. Yeah,
or even
like I've got
1080
to
to
admit,
4K.
but
If you're going for like,
yeah,
if you go from 1080 to 4K, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is like wow. But if you were already on 1440, you're gonna be like, that's not that much of a jump, really. It's really not
yeah.
much. Not for games
No, my
anyway.
audio, they're saying my audio is a bit loud. Have you got mine on the lowest?
Yeah, I've got it on the lowest, I think.
I'll try and drop it more, but yeah, like I'll drop it a little bit more. So that hopefully should be okay. Yeah, like sorry, back on the 4K. So 4K, like I love it though, man. You really notice it, like I don't know, because the monitor gets a bit bigger, right? I've got a 27 upstairs, it's 1440p, but I got a 28 down here.
All right, I brought you down a little
So
bit there. See what happens.
so yeah, it's stretching the picture a little bit, but man, it looks so good. Like I can't go back now. Hey, like 4K is just legitimately good. So
From the
yeah,
screen real estate
that's
aspect too, man. It's so much
yeah.
room, isn't it?
It's just ridiculous, man. Plus, this monitor is amazing. Like, it's fast, it's responsive, it's got low input lag.
Well, I
Yada
bet
yada yada.
for gaming too, that would be better than like the 40-inch I have because it's gonna have the tighter pixels. So it could be better on that. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I like having just this size right here, man, as a secondary screen is so nice having that space. Like especially for streaming here, having this all set up.
yeah.
It's fucking good.
Well, I mean that's awesome. So yeah, you've got two 40-inch monitors in your room at the
No,
moment. Plus,
one 40-inch monitor, and then I've got the 50-inch Hisense TV, which is actually
ah,
a Hitachi. I found out. So the picture on that thing is great.
So you got two. You just like 4K
We're-
heaven in your
our,
room.
our house is 4K'd out now. We have 4K in the living room, my bedroom, and
Yeah.
then here at the desk. So we got three 4K situations going
Then
on
you're
here.
gonna get all the Titan X's to power those things in your house. It's gonna be a heater.
No, I played a couple of games on them. You know, games that use a controller. I was playing the new Transformers Devastation today, which oddly enough doesn't support 4K. It maxes out at 1080p. New game, which is really odd. I'm going to do a performance review on that one.
1080p, it maxes out. What?
Yeah, it's well, the art style is made like a 1980s cartoon and stuff. Like it really looks like you're in a Transformers cartoon from the 80s.
Ah, sweet. Well, that's pretty good then.
But I don't see a reason why I couldn't do that still at 4K or 1440. It's just the highest res on there is 1920 by 1080, and there's a lot of other things that haven't really, the keyboard controls haven't really been optimized for PC. But I'm going to talk about that, in the video. But the gameplay and everything that else is awesome. So if you like the old cartoons, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, well, on my end, you can see here I've set up these speakers. I would have set up the creative speakers, but they're too big for this desk. They're just way too big. So
Like how much bigger? How much bigger than that?
Like it'd go up to here and like out to here.
Wow.
And like I can't fit it in the corner, like behind me here. So
Wow.
yeah, so I mean I got these Onkyo speakers set up. They sound pretty good.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'm reviewing this keyboard, the Gamdias. That's how you pronounce it? Yeah, Gamdias?
Yeah, Gamdias. Yeah, I reviewed it recently on the channel. It's a good keyboard. It's still sitting in front of me right now.
Yeah, so it's actually going to get a pretty good review because it is good. I'm surprised.
Well, when you get a product to review, like on a YouTube channel or a website or whatever, you know it's good if you're still using it when you're done reviewing it. That's how you know if it's good. Or at least it's going to be here until someone sends me something better. Like if Corsair wants to send something out, by all means, please replace my Gamdias keyboard for me. I challenge you to. But that's how you can tell something's good. If you're still using it when you're done, working on it, it's definitely good.
Completely agree. I mean, this thing, I was impressed. Like, it's a brand I've never heard of before, but it's pretty damn good. Like the build quality is amazing for a brand I've never heard of, and that really goes far. So,
and it matches your
I'll be
walls.
reviewing that. Yeah, be reviewing. Matches the setup. Yeah, it matches the whole red black setup. Like they knew what I wanted. So because this is my gaming setup, they sent me red switches, red backlighting. I'm like, whoa, okay.
But you know what I got to do?
These guys are spying on me.
You know what I got to do though is I got to hook you up with the black and red TGW wallpaper for your monitor back there, so it looks good in there, so it matches.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So
and then you'll be complete. So you want to move into the first topic? Start talking about some Star Wars Battlefront.
We'll talk about some Star Wars Battlefront. We'll get on over the personal news. People are like, I didn't come here for the personal news, man. Get onto the tech and the game.
We want to hear about the TG dubs.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll get on Star Wars Battlefront. It's open beta this weekend. So I'm going to be trying it out. If you want to try it out, get on Origin. You can preload it, and then you can just play it all weekend like I'm going to do.
Yeah, basically, you don't need a key at all. It's going to be an open beta for everyone, all platforms, PS4, Xbox One, PC. If you own a PC that can play it right now, you can just load up Origin, go on the store page. It's sitting right there. It's like, hey, preload me now. And you just preload it. And then tomorrow when it goes live, it'll be ready to go. Just play it. It's 10.1 gigabyte download, which expands to 10.3 gigabytes total. So make sure you got enough space on your SSDs for this one so you can get loaded into those servers quickly. And I can't wait to play this, man. The lighting on it looks so good. I just, since I enjoyed it during the alpha. I played it this past weekend at an event up in New York. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play it some more this weekend and stream it for you guys.
Well, I'm just really keen to get a feel of the game. That's what I'm keen for, because that to me is what's going to sell this game. It's just not like anything. I don't care too much about the graphics. I mean, I know the graphics are going to be good, but I really care about just when you get into the game, how does it play? You know what I mean? Especially when you're playing online, how's the matchmaking play? Yeah, and I'll get to get a feel of that, and I won't. This is great because this is what a lot of companies should be doing, and that way I can say, hey, okay, am I going to buy this game? I want to play it before I get to buy it, and this is kind of a try before you buy in ways. I mean, sure, it's going to be beta. Now, don't get us wrong. The purpose of this is for them to get free beta testing, but it's still great. You get to try the game.
Yeah, and. So. Yeah, and the big questions for me, like going into this beta, is going to be the matchmaking, like you said there, because they're not having the server browser, no dedicated, it's all matchmaking. So
yeah,
it's going to be a question as to how well that's going to work, And then the optimization is going to be the other thing, but I think that's going to be pretty good. I mean, we already got some initial numbers here, which we're going to touch on in a bit, and it is performing pretty well.
Well, that's it. This is the rage, man. Star Wars Battlefront. Got to get on it this weekend, brothers.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about buying it, definitely try it out so you can see if it's rubbish or not. If you like it or not, try it out.
That's it. And like, hopefully I'll be sitting here next week being like, oh, it was amazing.
It was amazing. You need to play it.
Well, I think it's going to be like it's amazing or it's rubbish, and it's not going to be in between for me.
Yeah.
So that's that.
And my mouse is acting weird for me.
What mouse is it?
It's the Myonix caster. So I had a caster here.
That shouldn't be right. I mean, I thought this mouse was the holy grail of all mouses.
Okay, well here's what it is I had a caster here that my friend had let me borrow because I wasn't sure if I was getting a review sample just yet. And so then they had sent me out one and I got it and I was just like, okay, so I gave him his mouse back. And since I've had this one, I've noticed like this juddering ever since today only, actually. It wasn't like I didn't see it yesterday or the day before, but sometimes I'll just go and grab the mouse to go ahead and move it, and the cursor, instead of moving across the screen, will just kind of shake a little bit in that spot, and then it'll go. It's like
It might be a mouse pad. I mean, clean up whatever surface you're using it on. I've had mouse do crazy stuff, and I've cleaned the surface up. Yeah. Or I've cleaned the sensor on the bottom.
Yeah.
It might be like a micro hair getting in the way or something. Like,
maybe. I don't know, because it wasn't like this yesterday. It was just happening weird, like it just happened right there. Like, again, I tried changing the USB ports, and I disconnected my old Razer. I uninstalled the Razer Synapse just in case that was conflicting, and it seems to be okay now, but it just happens intermittently.
Well, yeah, I'd give it a good clean.
Yeah.
So it needs some TLC, man. Tender love and care.
I blew it out earlier with some air duster, and that didn't seem to do the job just yet. So
it could be a hair like stuck on the sensor, so you might have to do some.
Yeah, well, if not, I'll have
to get a cotton bud or something.
If not, I'll have to tell my Onyx just send me another one. Just like,
like,
this is unacceptable. I had one that was good. If I had known this one was going to be broken, I would have sent this one back to my friend. And he could have had the broken one.
Oh, man. This joke, you shouldn't be saying that on a live stream.
It's a joke.
I just sent my friend the broken one back.
He would know the difference. He's just like, man, this mouse is behaving weird. Like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I won't notice the difference. That's like lending your car to someone and then you get it back and you notice there's like something wrong and when you're putting your foot down on the accelerator. Like, what? The rev's a little bit different now. And then it makes you wonder, did my friend just thrash the shit out of my car? Like, come on, man. All right, anyway, let's get on to the next piece of news here. Nvidia GeForce 358.50 WHQL driver release. So it's an official driver. It's game-ready driver for the Star Wars Battlefront beta. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. They've got a driver ready for the open beta, which...
Yeah, well, we reported AMD last week that they did one.
Yeah, so I mean, AMD also released their have you got that news? AMD released their 0.1 driver anyway. So
we talked about that last week. This is for the memory leak.
Yeah, they fixed it. They released another one on top of that one for the memory leak. So that was pretty good. Yeah, so both of these guys are really getting on their game with drivers, and that impresses me. Like, Nvidia kind of have been on their game, but AMD's definitely stepping it up, and I like to see that both companies are looking after their respective users. But I mean, one thing actually I was going to talk about that DX12 thing. People sent me some links about Nvidia releasing a blog about the do's and don'ts, and it kind of admitted that there was a weakness on their Maxwell architecture with the asynchronous support. But I've got to read up a lot about that, so maybe make it for a topic for next week or something. But it was interesting. They did kind of admit to that. But one thing is that I took out of the update wire, it was pretty funny because I took out of this do's and don'ts list was the Maxwell features. So pretty much they're just forgetting about Kepler and Fermi. That was the saddest thing to me. It wasn't like, I don't know why no one else focused on that. But when I was reading it, I'm like, okay, they're giving all these hints and tips on how to produce games for DX12, but then Kepler and Fermi are just getting absolutely, I think Kepler's supposed to have, does Kepler have DX12 support technically?
It will have basic DirectX 12 support, but not full DirectX 12 support.
Yeah, so it's just like, hey, your Kepler card's not going to work properly, so GG.
It's basically certain features it won't be able to take full advantage of. kind of like, I guess, like with direct, you need like DX11 cards to take full advantage of like tessellation and stuff, but technically you can still run DirectX 11 games, on older GPUs. Yeah.
It just seems like Kepler users, and I mean Fermi users have already been shunned in ways, but Kepler users will get, like with DirectX 12, I think they're officially going to get shunned.
Yeah.
So
I'm back here looking at this driver again though, and they were mentioning on the SLI profiles they don't have anything added here for Battlefront, so it looks like we're not going to get an SLI profile for Battlefront over the weekend. That's kind of unfortunate.
Well, for me it doesn't matter. I don't play SLI, so
yeah. Well, for us over in the SLI Master Race, it does matter, Brian. So
that's why I always
that means it matters for everyone.
But this is why I always use a single card, and I recommend people, instead of going out and getting two 970s, go out and get a 980 Ti, because
I would recommend the same thing because of video memory and all that stuff.
Yeah, just one card, man. You don't have to deal
I disagree. I disagree with the one card argument, but I do agree that a single 980 Ti is better than two 970s.
Okay.
And they also added in SLI support here for shadow play and game stream on Windows 10. So
finally,
they're still working on Windows 10 SLI stuff. It's been buggy since Windows 10 launched, basically.
Well, I don't know if I've said this before. If you want to get shadow play working properly on Windows 10, you have to close down the server stream capture. So you press Control-Alt-Delete, close that down. You'll be able to use shadow play properly on Windows 10, I think.
Yeah, I had some issues with that. I had some issues with that capture service too once, where I had a memory leak because of it.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of why Windows 10 was a little bit buggy, but so we'll get Star Wars Battlefront official PC requirements unveiled. Do you want to go through this? But you already made a video.
Yeah. I made a video on this. I figured I would just bring it up again for basically redundancy and maybe anyone that missed it. People that are wondering if they can run it. Basically, this weekend when I played it, we were running it on 290X with 8 gigabytes of RAM and a stock 4790, not a K version. So, and that was running around 80 frames. Maxed out 1080p, so that could definitely max it out. And we got some more performance numbers on here, which we can kind of relate over to this on WCCF Tech. They ran a bunch of GPU benchmarks. They running on a 980 Ti 1080p 114 frames. So obviously SLI is not going to be needed for 1080p.
Was that maxed?
Yeah, that's max, full HD, maxed
completely
out.
Maxed. Yeah, that's like, for me, I'm going to be able to run this at 4K with some tweaks. Which is going to be great.
It's going to run like Battlefield 4, man. Yeah. If you can run Battlefield 4, that's how this game is going to run. They've added in this new physics-based lighting system that's centered around how they scanned in the weapons and all that stuff, and now it can act more realistically with the lighting environment. But other than that, they really haven't done that much. And Frostbite 3 has been known to scale really well in performance with all the different GPUs. Which is why you could see here, it's basically looking at, a price list. You're just basically going from the low end to the high end, and that's how you know it's scaling well.
So I got a little bit of a problem here with the recommended specs, right? They're recommending the latest Skylake. They're recommending the latest Maxwell GPU. But then they're recommending the R9 290. I mean, they should be recommending the R9 390. Come on.
I agree, or even less than that, because the 290 is more than it needs, honestly. You can get, I reckon a 370X or a 280 probably going to be fine running this.
Yeah, see, recommended 1080p. Recommended, honestly, look at this Skylake requirement. It's a joke. I've just tested Skylake. I still got to do my review on the 6600K. I know, but they should be saying 4.7, 4, whatever the i5 is.
They always say they always say the latest one. I just think it goes back. It's basically you just see that say i5 or equivalent, so you can equate that to i5s all the way back to first gen and Sandy Bridge.
Look at the minimum PC, an i3 6300T. I haven't even heard of this CPU yet. Yet it's getting is it even released yet? The i3 on the Skylake.
I don't know if it's been released yet. And they also said 16 gigs of RAM on here, which is more than it needs because it was running on 8 gigs. It doesn't need that much.
Yeah, it's funny that they're recommending a CPU I haven't even seen up for sale yet. Come on, just recommend a freaking i3 4160.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? That's a CPU that a lot of people have, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, they basically have overspec'd this, in my opinion. And
will it work on the Pentium 3258? That's something I'm curious.
Probably. If it's going to work on an i3, then why wouldn't it?
Well, if you've got access at the moment, all you got to do is just drop your computer down to 2 cores in the BIOS, 2 cores, 2 threads, and then see if it opens up.
Yeah.
And if it does, you should be able to play it on a Pentium, which is good news. Because a lot of people are on the Pentiums, and I'm sure they want to play this game.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a real mainstream game.
I might get. I'm actually was thinking about getting an i3 for out in the living room. I'm going to be doing a like an Xbox size living room PC to hook up to the 4K TV out there because we're getting rid of our cable service.
Well,
So I'm
honestly,
looking at doing a small form factor. I'm still looking around. I was just throwing it out there. But
well, if you're in Oz, like that CPU, the i3 4160, it's like 150 AUD. If you put that into USD, I think it's even cheaper than it is in the States, which you know you're getting a really good deal if that's the case. So, like yeah, the i3 at the moment in Oz 4160 is the CPU to get for like budget gaming.
yeah, I don't know. I gotta see what I could do. I gotta reach out to some companies and see what we can get sponsored out for it. It really depends. It really depends on that, like what kind of motherboard I can get and what kind of case. I'm looking at like a Node, maybe like one of the Node cases from Fractal.
Yeah.
I kind of like those. They're pretty nice.
All right, so
anyway,
we're gonna have a back to the Star Wars Battlefront's been benchmarked now. So this is just like this Joker's going off the scale with Star Wars Battlefront. He really.
Well, it's the hot button issue, man. Everyone wants to know about Battlefront. Man.
Okay, so it's been benchmarked, and now it supposedly runs better on the Raidons than it does on our little Nvidia counterparts. So we've got here at 1080p we're going to look at the mid-range cards for 1080p, right? Because I mean the 980 Ti and the Fury X are just killing it. Well, we see here that the R9 where's the R9 390? This is what pisses me off. Where's the R9 390?
They have the 390X. They don't have a 390 on there.
Okay, well, if a 290 is beating a 970, then a 390 is going to be pretty much going to be up there with almost with the 980, which is great news for that. That's what I'm really looking at the moment is the 970 and the R9 390 because they're the hottest cards like the people are probably buying out there. So
they also said on the heading for this article that AMD was beating them out. But I mean, we could see the 980 Ti is winning there. But also, if you count these up, they tested 8 Radeon GPUs and only 5 Nvidia ones. So. And I think
it's a bit weird too how they're testing they're not testing the R9 390. I mean, I don't know how the R9 390X can only perform the same as the R9 290X. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, that's not good if that's the case. It should be performing much better.
Well, because in any benchmark I've seen, the 3 series counterparts, they do get a healthy lead over their 2 series counterparts. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's kind of a little bit weird to me. That's an inconsistency.
380 and the 285 is only 2 frame difference. These are all really close numbers, like on generational gaps as well. Those should be those numbers should be much different.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can throw up some benchmarks on my 980 Ti. I mean, I'd love to know the level. See, this is something I might do in my benchmarks is give out what part of the map I'm testing.
They benchmark 4K on here as well, down below at 1440.
And what part of the level you're benchmarking? Because that would be great. Then people could test their own results and be like, okay, I'm getting this.
I don't recall if it had a built-in benchmark or not. I don't think it did.
So if it doesn't, then they're getting a part of the level and they're just retesting it. And since the R9 290X is performing pretty much identical to the R9 390X, it means that they haven't been testing it like consistently. Like they've been testing a part of the level where a lot of the stuff is random and it's changing. So from benchmark to benchmark, they'll be getting different results possibly. But it does go to show, if you look at it on average, it does go to show that GTX 970 is a hell of a lot behind an R9 290. And then if we got the R9 390, which will perform a lot better than the 290, that means your R9 390 you're going to be in a better spot on the mid-range on AMD.
And
is a lot.
And in the higher resolutions, in AMD is edging out Nvidia though more on these.
Yeah, so that's really good news. That's really good news because that's what I mean. I really want to get an R9 390 and test it. Because that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
be doing a video on that. So it's really good news for people on the AMD cards. I mean, this is the thing. Like if you're on a GTX 970 at the moment, right? Because I've recommended a lot of 970s in the past. Still getting 70. This is fully maxed out, 76 frames per second at 1080p. Let's go to 1440p, 970, 52 frames per second. You're still going to have
if you knock down MSAA on that, you're going to be soaring over to 60, 70 frames.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're still going to have an amazing experience on all these cards. So don't.
I would
Like,
honestly, I would have expected to see the 970 and the 780 Ti giving a little bit more performance than that and beating out on 290. I would have thought.
well, see, the 780 Ti is getting left in the. I mean, the 780 Ti is getting left in the dust. It's like no one, it's like Nvidia just forgetting about that. That card should
was
be
a beast.
performing. It should be performing with the 980.
Yeah, a little bit less VRAM, or a 970 with a little bit less.
Well, it's just a card that's been forgotten about that is just a powerhouse. But they're not utilizing. Clearly, they're not utilizing all that card's power potential. So
I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of disgusting in a way. Like I'd be pissed. Like, honestly though, because I've got a friend in Australia who I recommended a 780 Ti to, like probably when it was released, and he paid freaking good money for that card.
Expensive,
and I'd
man.
be pissed
TIs
off.
are expensive.
Yeah, they were expensive, man. Like, and now a 970 is pretty much up there with a 780 Ti. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
I don't know. Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah,
So,
at least these numbers show us that the performance is scaling pretty well across the cards, and
yeah,
I think
it's good across the board. But AMD, yeah,
anyone
I'm
should be able
glad
to run
see.
this. Anyone should be able to
I'm
run
glad
this
to
game
see
on decent
those-
specs PC.
Well, I'm glad to see that R9 3. Well, even though it's not there, I'm going to assume that the R9 390s are going to be kicking the GTX 970s ass. I mean, that's good news for AMD. People on AMD.
It doesn't really surprise. That doesn't really surprise me either. Frostbite 3 was optimized on BF4 for AMD with Mantle and all that. So,
but this
just
is
kinda
one
continuing
sad
that
thing, man. Like,
trend.
I was looking for an R9 390 in Japan, and because I want a decent one, right? And it's like the cheapest one is still like a good $50 over the 970. It's like now I was raising the argument before about Nvidia to fix their international pricing, but maybe AMD's got to take a look at their international pricing now. It's like I thought these cards were meant to be about the same price, the R9 3, because in America they are, yeah, the 390 and the 970.
Pretty close. Pretty damn close.
So it's like now it's like for me it's the opposite problem I was having before. The Nvidia cards were overpriced. Now the AMD cards here are overpriced.
Yeah, I think our takeaway from this is everyone just needs to buy a 980 Ti and stop belly aching about all the performance issues. that's the takeaways. Everyone needs a 980 Ti and 144 its 1440p monitors. Okay, and then we can all stop complaining about performance. If everyone's all on the same GPUs, we don't have to complain anymore.
It's an expensive card. I mean, a lot of people like the mid range because it does represent the best value in my opinion.
Oh yeah, man! Like a 970 fucking kills it at 1080p, man. That card.
Well, especially
kills it.
price performance, man. Like the 970 and the 290 390 are your go-to cards for price performance, like in that sweet spot level.
Yeah.
So I mean, the good thing is the 980 and the Furex still scale really well, like for your dollar. It's just they don't scale that like as good as going from a 960 to a 970, for example. So, anyway, it's official. The next Far Cry is Far Cry Primal. So
I can't believe they're doing another Far Cry already, man. It's too soon, man. I thought Far Cry 4 came too soon, and I think this Far Cry is coming too damn soon. But they just had Far Cry last year, Far Cry 4, and that game I did not care for at all.
I didn't hate, I mean, it was like I preferred Crysis 3 like a lot more. So it's like Crysis I like the rate at which Crysis are releasing their games. I kind of a little bit like this is a little bit too fast. I do agree.
Yeah, Crysis they spend a good while making those games, but even like Crysis 3 I didn't think was that great. I liked the multiplayer in it, but I thought the single player was kind of lacking.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I mean,
I'm just sorry, go ahead.
Far Cry Primal, I mean, we're going back to we're going to be a caveman running around with a spear and a bow and arrow.
Well, that excites me, but I also want to know is if we're running around in the Stone Age, how are we going to climb radio towers? How are they going to fit that in? Because it's a Ubisoft open world game. They're going to have us climbing something. We're going to be climbing something. Yeah. It's like, oh, what do you got there? Oh, we've got about 6 hours of story and 7,500 hours of climbing fucking towers. It's a Ubisoft game, man. No,
what's the who's going to be the arc or the nemesis? Who's going to be the bad guy? Like in a primal set, like this dinosaur is causing havoc in the mountain.
Yeah, and they didn't even speak. They didn't even speak words back then, so it's going to be like.
Well, I think it'll be like some cult, right? There'll be this bad voodoo cult guy, and you've got here's the guy who's just ringing all the bells.
Yeah.
But I would like it if they put aliens in there, and then like aliens came down, and then you could steal their guns, and then you're like, woo, we're back in Far Cry heaven, baby.
Well, they mentioned in this article here that this is going to be an off-year Far Cry, not unlike Blood Dragon. So I hope it's not too much like Blood Dragon, because I actually really like the concept of this Stone Age thing. And Far Cry Blood Dragon, while it was good, it was really short. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to do it for $20, I guess, but I would like to see a fully fleshed out game set in this Stone Age era. I think that's because that sounds really cool to me. As long as they can get over the whole Ubisoft the open world game type gameplay that they have, with just, go around and collect this shit, go over here and do this shit and climb this shit, and then bad guy, boom, game's over. Okay, that was 100 hours of my life. Thank you for making me climb all those towers and collect all those diamonds.
Oh man, he's so cynical sometimes. It's funny. I appreciate it. It's good. Like that's something I appreciate that. So yeah, Ubisoft, just don't mess
cynical,
it up.
never.
Just don't mess it up, Ubisoft. If you're gonna take our money, at least make it worth it. So War Thunder. So we're gonna move on to War Thunder now. The new update will introduce physically based rendering and Nvidia GameWorks effects.
Yeah, so they're adding in some WaveWorks effects, finally getting a game with this. Honestly, I don't think these screenshots really do it justice, because I've seen some video and it looks really good. But these screenshots don't really do it justice. That one looks pretty good. But,
it does look good, yeah. I mean, some of these screenshots do look pretty good to me.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, the first one does not look great. The comparison side by side, but the rest of them. Good, actually. But yeah,
that's kind of like it's like someone didn't capture the proper res or something.
Something like that. It's like it looks like a game from '97, like an old Medal of Honor game.
The second one does look really good on both.
Yeah. Well, the water had already looked good in War Thunder. Basically, they're expanding the physics-based rendering so that the waves will actually interact with the environment now. So anything they come in contact with, they'll actually work with.
You see the color changing and stuff in the water, so that's pretty cool.
Yep. And I play a lot of War Thunder. The tanks and the planes, all that stuff is awesome. And this is going to be even better when they finally introduce ships later on. They're bringing in like warships and stuff. I can't wait for that. It's still a way away, but I don't know. The graphics in that game have always been good. And for a free-to-play game, like that is one of the games that actually does free-to-play right, in my opinion, because you can go play that game and not put $1 into it, and you can lock everything. You can unlock pretty much everything for a single country, like over the course of a weekend, and it never really feels like a grind, in my opinion. You have to put in effort, you have to put in time to unlock everything for a country, like all the different vehicles and all the different unlocks for each one. But it feels rewarding and well-paced enough where you don't feel like, oh, man, I'm never going to unlock this unless I go out and spend $20 on some Silver Lions to help accelerate this leveling up process. You don't really feel like that
definitely, the game's definitely good. Like, what was World of Tanks? Is that based on the same engine? I played World of Tanks a lot. I don't know if
it's based on the same engine, but that game runs like shit. This one does not.
Okay, well, I actually enjoyed World of Tanks a lot. So that was a good free to play as well.
It had really bad performance issues initially. I haven't played it in a while. It's been like a year, but it used to have really bad performance issues. So I'm just talking strictly based on performance.
Okay, so War Thunder's pretty good then.
War Thunder is great for everything. I love the plane combat, tank combat, performance, graphics. Just hits on all free. It hits on everything, and it's on PS4.
We'll move on to the next. I mean, Nvidia's bundling Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I mean, Assassin's Creed, I haven't even played a game because I've just heard people saying that it was just the crappiest piece of shit on PC. But I mean, what about you? Like,
well, I think, hey man, if they're going to bundle in some games, why not? At least I like the fact that they're bundling in games that people aren't going to buy. It's like it's like
bundling games that people are gonna buy.
Well, hey man, because then at least you're like, hey, well, if at least I'm getting something free, it's something I didn't really want, so now you don't have to buy it anyway. You're just gonna let you play a game you might not have played. And I've got hopes for this year Assassin's Creed Syndicate, man. I want to see them save themselves, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Like I'd rather them bundle in like Legacy of the Void or something like different from a big company like Assassin's Creed. Hey, no one wants to play this game, man. Just we're gonna bundle it in.
It's whatever companies are gonna play ball and let them use their Nvidia GameWorks, and then they return the favor by doing this.
Star Wars Battlefront. I mean, let's just get some games that people are actually gonna buy.
Yeah, but in order for that to happen, they're gonna have to get GameWorks in that game. Yeah, and I don't think we need more GameWorks and more titles.
Yeah, well, they're bundling in 2 games that I'm not buying, so it doesn't even bother me. So,
Well, hey,
I'd like.
I'd buy these games for sure. I'm gonna definitely cover it on the channel. I can't wait to play Siege. Siege was awesome in the
Oh
beta.
yeah, true. Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, I wouldn't buy Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I mean G2A, Rainbow Six Siege, $5, $10. Sure, you got me
Yeah,
sold.
yeah. Sheriff
But
S in
that's-
the chat said he's getting Rainbow Six Siege. You love the beta. I loved it as well. I mean,
Yeah.
even with the really bad matchmaking issues, I mean, we could tell we liked the game because we were still willing to sit there and quit out of the game and reboot our UPlay clients like 8 times throughout the night just so we could keep playing the game because we enjoyed it that much. It actually it kind of reminded me back of in the day when like online just didn't work, but you're like it didn't matter because it was so fun that you were going to put up with it just to play, just so you can
See,
have a little more time with your friends playing a game.
I'm honestly wondering if they should have just bundled Rainbow Six Siege. That probably would have been a smarter move. Like I know the Assassin's Creed franchise just has a bad omen behind it. Like I'm afraid to touch that because I've heard so many bad things about Assassin's Creed already. Like how it's been crap, poorly optimized, and it wasn't even running on flagship cards like a couple of years ago. Like I've just heard so many things about it. They should have just left it out. Just Nvidia bundles Rainbow Six Siege with their GTX 970 probably would have
Hey
been more
man,
successful.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to complain about getting more games. You know.
I know that, but I mean, I just think it would have been more successful because it's like when I read the title quickly, I was like, oh, I didn't even read Rainbow Six Siege, but now I realized, hey, that's actually a pretty good game. That's been getting some pretty good reports. So
It had some issues, but overall, it was a very enjoyable experience. I just hope they could fix out the issues that I did have with the matchmaking and the net code and all that shit.
well,
They need to get that
there you
sorted
go.
out.
All right, so that's a bundle, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to know if anyone's going to be buying GPUs. Wait for that bundle to start, basically, so you can get some free games with it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I can leverage my bad experience with Batman Arkham Knight into some more game codes. Who knows? We'll see what
Well,
happens.
you're getting some free games, and you're going to be playing it on your Gamdius.
Ooh.
Gamdius.
Well, the Siege I would, not Syndicate. Syndicate's a controller game for me. And speaking of controllers, that brings us to the next one here with Steam.
You want to take this one away.
Yeah,
Steaming in.
Steam is finally going to be coming to retail stores. Various bits of the Steam hardware around November 10th. You can see the Steam controller showing up, Steam Link, Steam machines. I'm curious to give this controller a try because people have been talking about it for ages, and I think it looks weird. I don't like the idea of it. Basically, the thumb pads are kind of modeled after like a touchpad on a mouse, on a like a mouse pad on a laptop, which I don't think has ever been great for a game. So I'm curious to see how that technology works on a controller, and maybe it will be good. Hey, you know, if they can come out with a controller thing that actually makes it viable as a option for first-person shooters, then I'll be all over that. I'll try it out, give it a go.
Well,
I mean, I don't see it.
at that.
I don't see it replacing mouse and keyboard, but I'd like to try it out at least and see if it's a better option than standard twin stick controller.
Well, I'm just looking at that Steam button. That looks sexy.
That does look sexy in the middle, doesn't it? It just makes you want to nuzzle it, just like it was Gaben himself.
Just
Just give it penguin kisses like you would Gaben if you met him in real life.
That's it. They need the Hail Lord Gaben console. They need a limited edition with like.
They need the PC Master Race limited edition with the fucking the golden god on it with the waving hair right in the middle, that on the button. That needs to happen.
They do. Yeah, that's it. They need to have that. Hey, so, Steam machine. So that's there's a Steam machine. It's a mini PC. That's going to be retailing at $450 as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than consoles, but hopefully giving more performance than consoles. Hopefully, I mean we got to see this. We've got to see the specs on this $450 version because there's going to be a lot of versions of the Steam boxes. Different companies, Alienware. Everyone's going to have their contenders, Zotac. So there's going to be a lot of options there.
I think, like I've said in the past with the Steam machine, like Gabe really needs to release the Steam machine with the Steam OS with Half-Life 3 all at the same time.
Oh man, people
people
would buy for that reason. That would be the holiday seller.
I mean. That's what I mean. Like Gaben needs to. I don't know why they're not making Half-Life 3 already. Like to be honest, like let's get off all the Half-Life 3 confirmed. They should be. That game was such a hit. I mean, look at all the source off it. Like they need to get Half-Life 3 out. Like hurry up.
I think they're waiting for I think they're waiting for the Vive to launch for that, and I think it's going to be a VR experience.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I get vertigo with VR, so they've got to fix a lot with VR. I mean, like I do believe VR is the future, but it's a long way away, like from getting it properly.
Well, they've got that Vive they're working on, right? Which is a lot of it. Well, so far everything we've seen has been room-based VR, and what that means is they set up sensors throughout the room that then pick up where your body is to get more accurate movement and all that. But so far, all the demos we've seen have been centered around being in a single room because that's how it's set up to be accurate. So.
Yeah.
How expansive can games possibly be if they are limited to that? And we haven't
Well,
seen
you'd probably be
anything
on, like, a
outside of it
walking-
yet. Well, no,
probably be on some.
we haven't seen anything though outside of that yet. It's all been room-based VR. There was a Portal demo where you're in a small single room and you're doing like a mechanic thing on the Portal co-op robots like Atlas and stuff. So yeah, it's I don't know. Is every single game on the HTC Vive going to be room based? Like here we've got the room simulator and prison cell simulator. It's like what else are you going to do?
It's like you open the door and then you've got to do please turn around 180 degrees, and then like the room just like glitches and flips on you.
No, basically what's going to happen? It'll be Half-Life, right? And you're going to get the old Half-Life 2 style loading screens when you walk like 5 feet and it just stops and it's just like loading. Okay, the rest of the room has now loaded. We can continue. And that's what room-based VR will be. You're going to take like 3 steps, loading, 3 steps, loading. It's like, God damn it, Vive, come on.
I should have got an SSD in this thing. Anyway, good old, so that's interesting there with VR. But we got the next piece of news here. Reports claim Star Citizen is almost out of cash.
Yeah, but I think the big topic here is that big image they use. That's a hot looking wallpaper, man.
That's Star Citizen wallpaper, yeah.
That's a nice wallpaper. I think that's the big story here. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think that's the. I mean, like, look, man, if you guys funded this, like, just that wallpaper alone is worth your funding, right?
Yeah, I've given them about $85 so far. I mean, they better get more something better than that wallpaper, yeah.
Oh, you've actually donated. I haven't donated a cent. It's like, man, come on, if you're making a game, like, well, I don't know.
I bought a ship, like pretty much straight away for $45, and I've added on stuff since then, like different modules and things like that, and so yeah, it's just been getting more and more and more.
But anyway, we'll get into the story. I mean, report claims Star Citizen is almost out of cash. I mean, Chris Robertson's insatiable ambition is to blame. So they're saying that the head of this game is misusing cash, and they're running out, and this game is not going to be implemented properly if they run out of cash. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say here. Like, I'm not I don't know any of the inside people. I haven't spoke to anyone. So, I mean, it's pretty serious, some of the accusations, like, or some of the allegations that are made. Like, pretty much, like, it's a pretty hot topic that I think the Chris Roberts dude, I think he's actually taking legal action against the original perpetrator of the story. So, I don't know, like, this just looks pretty serious and full on. And then he's made a response about it as well. And it's not good. Like, honestly, this is a game that a lot of PC enthusiasts are looking forward to. And
that's like one of the biggest ones. It's like the biggest like of all time.
That's it, because it's optimized completely for PC. Like, don't care about consoles, yada, yada, yada. It's also a MMO. Like, it's just meant to be the duck's nuts of games for PC.
Well, I mean, the cost of it already. I mean, it's not only one of the largest crowd-funded games in history, but as far as the funding is concerned, I mean, it's one of the most expensive games ever made. Not just crowd-funded games, but games in general. It's massive. The amount of money in this game is massive. Like, we just saw Witcher 3. They said that game was like $60 million to produce, and this is over that already.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? So, I mean, I'm on, like, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, like, obviously, someone like you or me, we wouldn't have true insight to what's going on behind the scenes. But obviously, the pot's being stirred here, or the pot's rattling. So, I would guess that something's not right. Something's going on. I mean, maybe some employees were burned really hard to the point where they could be making it up. I mean, there could be some truth, right? There's just a lot of could-bes there.
Yeah, you're lagging pretty bad on my end here. I mean, your voice, your video feed is lagging real bad. Your voice is okay, but the video feed is like updating like every
10 FPS.
It's like it's well less than that. It's updating like every 10 seconds.
Okay, like so my video looks fine on my end, but yeah, stuff happens. But I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe we should go to the audience with this one. Do you guys think there's a lot of how much truth is there to this Star Citizen report? Do you guys think that they're misusing the cache? Put your answers into the description below.
Yeah.
I mean, in the comments section, because I'd love to follow this up at the end of the live.
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
people in the audience.
Yeah, when we get into the QA, we should definitely do that. Somebody Gareth in chat said logical for the win, bro. It's like, yeah.
That's it, logical, man. My webcam, having a go. It's Joker's.
Hey, you're back to normal now.
World internet.
There you go. You're back to normal now. As soon as I switched tabs, you got sorted out. Maybe it was that tab was really taxing.
See, it's Joker's, man. It ain't my logical.
It was that wallpaper, man. That wallpaper was really taxing. That was our $82 million being shown. You know. What we paid for, that really high-res wallpaper there.
Just imagine that, eh? Just imagine that. Hey, guys, we got 82 million and we've got 4K wallpaper for y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this is amazing.
Well, Zero Neutral seems pretty adamant in the chat that there's no truth to the Star Citizen report, man. If you got any conflicting links that, counteract it, then send it to us in a link later on in the show. We'll do the Q&A.
Well, we'll talk about that's what I mean. We'll talk about this more because it's pretty, like I said, like reading some of these, some of these accusations, pretty serious. So, and it's really serious. So, I'd rather talk about it with the audience at the end, live Q&A.
Yep.
But let's get on to the next topic here: the Fiji XT.
Yep.
Flagship spotted.
The dual GPU card, man. Finally.
That's it, man. So I actually love the name that they're giving this, Gemini. I really like that. That's honestly, I love it. It's a freaking awesome name, the R9 Gemini. Hopefully it does get called that because Gemini, the twins, and then in a lot of games I play, like Gemini is the twin-headed dog.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes sense. It's like, yeah, man. No, twin-headed wolf. Sorry, and this is just it looks like a Gemini. It's good.
Is that why we had the Gemini space missions back in the 90s? Maybe there was twin ships. I don't know what the meaning of that naming is. Gemini.
Yeah.
I assume it's like Greek mythology or something, right?
Yeah, it is. So it's this is what it was just Gemini, the star. So anyway. So we got here a dual GPU card, 2 Fiji XT cores on there. I mean, 2 Fury X is pretty much shoved into a graphics card. So this thing is going to be big. I mean, for those
depending on the price, really.
I'm interested more so to see how they're going to cool this thing. That's all.
Yeah. I'd like to see. I'd love to see custom ones from the board partners. That'd be amazing to see. But they're not going to do that. They're probably going to slap a water brick on this and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You get a dual, do we get 2 120s or do we just get one 240?
They'll probably just put another one of those Cooler Master coolers on it and just have yep, see you later.
I just couldn't buy it if it had 2 separate, water coolers coming off. That'd be the ugliest thing.
Oh, my God. I already think the water cooler ones are ugly, man. I mean, if you get 2 of them, where the hell do you mount those things? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. They're definitely going to have to go with a custom solution here. You'd have 2 mounted onto the same line and
I'm sorry, if your cards are running so fucking hot that you need to fucking strap on double water coolers to keep it going, then I'm not interested.
Well, that's what I'm really interested to see how they're going to cool this thing. That's all. So because because with the Fury X they're on water, right? So are they going to go with they're going to slap just 2 blocks on there integrated into one rad and one line, one pump?
I don't know. But that being said, as an NVIDIA fanboy, I really want to check out that MSI 980 Ti with the Corsair cooler on it. Because I'm an NVIDIA fanboy.
NVIDIA fanboy.
No, I actually would like to check that card out, man. The fact that it's got the Corsair Pirate chip on there looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I like that it's not necessary. It's an option. I don't like being forced into anything. And the fact that you would have to be forced into a water cooler, potentially, that bothers me.
Yeah.
But this card's probably, I'm nitpicking. I'm sure this card's going to be an absolute beast with dual fucking chips on it. It's going to be a monster.
It will be, yeah. I love the name. I'm really curious about the cooling, to be honest. We've just seen the board here, but I'm actually really curious to how they're cooling it. So
yeah, this thing.
Honestly, yeah,
it's going to be a 4K monster. This thing's going to be a.
And to be honest,
monster.
that could be the make and break for this card is how they cool it. That's what I'm going to say with this card.
Yeah.
So.
And power efficient, man. Oh my God, the power supply you're going to need for that sucker.
Yeah, and the dual freaking 980 solution too, 980 Ti solution.
Get ready for 1,000-watt PSU at least.
Again, if you're in winter and it's really cold in your country, don't even bother with a heater. Just get one of these things.
Oh yeah, I've reached behind my PC earlier to change a USB port, and I was like, man, that thing's pushing out some heat.
Yeah, on your, that's what I mean, man. On your SLI 980 Ti's, that thing's gonna heat up a room. That's why
Oh yeah, it does.
I try to
Especially when
keep my shit as power efficient as possible. It's not
especially
just
with the
like,
blower coolers, man, because it pulls all that hot air out of the case. It keeps it running cool though.
yeah. So you just have that your back of your case facing you, and that's like,
Well, it's
sweet,
facing a
you gotta-
wall.
well, that's sad. You're missing out on free heat.
I don't like heat. I like it to be cold. That's why I've got my windows open, even though it's 48 degrees out.
Yeah. So a couple of months ago we reported. So let's move on now. Half-Life 2's Unreal Engine 4 environment.
Yeah, this looks fucking sexy as all hell.
So, well, it's going to be available to the public with Oculus support.
God.
So, I mean, this is the thing. We're pulling this up because it looks so freaking good, man.
I just
like,
want to lick those hand railings. It's like that's how good. And I have never seen a set of stairs with 2 hand railings before. I just want to throw that out there.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Why does that stairs have 2 hand railings? Have you ever seen that in your life?
But it's old.
I
I have, man. An old school, like this is sort of an old school theme. I have seen like 2 handrails in the old school themes. Like it's really cool.
That's weird. I just noticed that there now. I just don't remember that from the game. It's just like that just kind of stood out to me. Seeing that it looked out of place. But never mind that. That's the fucking textures, man. Look at those walls. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Look at that lighting. That's fucking hot. I just need this in my life right now. I just want to walk around in this, man. I want to go to fucking Raven.
Need you Half-Life 2.
I want to go to Raven Town, whatever the fuck it's called. Ravenclaw. I don't know what that town's called. Raven something.
I need you in my life right now.
It's called Raven something, but it's dark. It's spooky. You get a shotgun. It looks hot. I want it in my life now. Unreal Engine 4. Yes, please.
Shit, man, you got to get a girlfriend, dude.
I don't need a girlfriend, man. Look at the anti-aliasing on that mesh fence. Who needs a girlfriend when you've got anti-aliasing like that, man? Come on. I'm going to have that baby running in 4K. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Just forget about it.
I'll just fap to these screenshots when we go off stream. I'm going to need to tilt my webcam out of the way. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Ah, shit. All right. Let's get on to Sony's expected. Oh, do we want to report a little bit more about this or?
No,
I mean, it's just got Unreal Engine 4 looks amazing.
Yeah, so basically
they're
bringing Half-Life 2 into Unreal Engine 4. It looks really hot. It's going to be available to everyone eventually, but it's not ready yet. So they're still working on it. The dev guy that's working on this basically wants to get a little bit more hands-on time with the Oculus Rift before they release it. But I'm just looking forward to playing it without VR, just walking around in general and playing it on my PC. I just want to explore this game and actually play Half-Life 2 again, but with better graphics. That's what I want to play.
Yeah.
I hope it's more than just a walk around an environment. I mean, even though that would look nice, I want to actually play a game in this. I want to play Half-Life 2 with updated graphics, essentially.
That'd be awesome. Well, that Vampire, have you checked out that Vampire? Unreal Engine 4. That looks, I mean, they haven't got gameplay yet, but the concept teaser looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, someone correct me. It's Ravenholm. That's it. Ravenholm.
Okay.
I couldn't remember the name of that chapter, but that's like, oh man, that's a good chapter. Just couldn't
Well,
remember
that's
the
it.
name of
Well, we've got well, let's get on the last piece of news because we got the Sony PlayStation 4. It's getting dropped to $350 in the States too. So this happened in Japan earlier, but it's, they obviously should have done this at the same time. I mean, hey guys, just people of Japan get dropped $50. So
yeah, I mean, I'd like to see this get dropped and then also include like the Nathan Drake collection bundled in with it. That'd be a good holiday drop right there.
Well, they're putting on the Nathan Drake collection, so that's getting put in there for $350.
Oh, it is getting put in there. Okay, that's what I was just saying they should do, and they did. Look at that. I didn't even see.
Yeah,
maybe I subconsciously read that with my mind's eye. I don't know.
Well, that's it. So I mean, that's what you're getting. So yeah, you get Uncharted in there, $350. That's a really good deal. I mean, as much of a PC fanboy as we are, I got to give it to this deal. Like for $350, like that's not bad at all.
That's a good deal. And my brother's my brother's pretty much confiscated my PS4, so I may have to get another one so I can play Uncharted.
Well, that's what I mean. The thing is, right? If you're a casual gamer, then a PS4 really is a good option. Like I'm going to admit that.
I just don't like the fact that you have to aim guns with a controller. That does that hurts my brain.
I mean, I've tried aiming. Yeah, I'm going to say I've got one of those mouse converters too, and they're nowhere near it. Like, it's not the PC experience anyway, so I will say that. But, I mean, look, $350, man, for a freaking console with a bundled in game, like latest gen, that's really not bad. I mean, especially if you look at inflation too. I mean, you look at how much you'd pay for a PS3, right? Years ago. PS4, man, it's freaking, like, it's definitely on the right, it's hit the right nail on the head. So, That's our PS4.
Yeah, I think it's a good console to own for exclusive because they do have good exclusives, even though they don't have as many as the Xbox One. I think it's more worth owning a PS4 for the exclusives that it does have, like Bloodborne, Uncharted,
Well,
Last of
plus
Us.
you can go out and you can tell your friends that you got a PS4. The people who don't know about PC gaming. So if you're like, hey guys, I play World of Warcraft, and they're like, what the fuck? What's World of Warcraft, man? Like, you just be like, no, man, I play Call of Duty on my PlayStation 4. Oh, yeah, come have a beer with us, man. Like, you're cool. Yeah, so you got that for bragging rights.
No, see, when I meet those people in the wild, I make fun of them. I'm just like, and then I was like, oh, you play it? Like how bad the frame rate is? You're like, what's the frame rate? I was like, exactly. I take out my phone. I show them pictures like it's my kids. Like, yeah, there's me and my PC. You know, that's me upgrading my graphics card. That's when I got my
together 10 years.
That's when I got my USB expansion drive. Yeah, that's bullshit. That's just me playing with the graphics card, having fun. You know, being silly. just taking out to showing it to people like it's my kid.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you got to do that. You know, you got to let people know this is your baby.
Well, hey, when you meet another PC fan out in the wild, which I have done, and I'm just like, oh, you PC? He's like, yeah, I'm PC, bro. I was like, oh yeah, I'm so PC, bro. I was like, what's up? What kind of PC? What's your spec? What's your spec, bro? What's your spec?
just back off, man.
and then no one else gets talked to for the rest of the night at the party. We're just like hanging out, broing it over PC. He's like, what's up, bro? PC, bro? PC, yeah.
Yeah.
So PC.
So, PC, yeah, PC, bro. Yep. So what about the PC? Yeah, PC. PC it is. What do you want to drink? PC? PC, man. I'll just be right back.
What are you playing over there, Forrest? I got Project Cars, bitch.
So, but yeah, we've got here. Let's go to questions. So we'll move to the audience. And do you guys want to talk about Star Citizen in the questions? Let us know if you've got questions about Star Citizen, because we wanted to touch on this with the audience. One person's already said that the whole article is a complete farce.
Yeah, someone said that. Someone said it was. Whoever said that in the chat was saying that it's a complete farce. So let us know what your source was for that. We'll be happy to look at it. Yeah,
and if is there any truth behind this article? We'd love to hear more. So, I mean, that's interesting. It's an interesting read.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to have to obviously...
just for people just not care about Star Citizen. Let's get to some more
no. We are a PC stream. We care about Star Citizen.
So, yeah, let us know, guys, in the comments. What do you guys think? So, but yeah, and also if you've got tech questions that you're dying to get off your chest, ask them in the questions. We're live here for another good 15 minutes. I got a good 15 minutes to spare. So, let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll endeavor to answer your questions as best as possible. So,
yeah, whatever we can get on.
I'm gonna start. Yeah.
Do you think you will play more Battlefield 4 after it gets patched with the 60 hertz plus tick rates? So it's already got the 60 hertz plus tick rates, and I've been playing it. We played it recently. Brian and I played it with a couple people. We had a lot of fun playing it.
It was good.
I go back. I go back to BF4. Time and time. It's it always pulls me back in every once in a while. It's just one of those games that's always in my rotation, kind of. Just not really playing it as much.
I just wish they had
other stuff.
I wish they had these updates right when the game was released. I mean, that's I just wish they had done it a lot earlier. That's all. So with Battlefield 4, so
yeah. And as far as the tick rates on the servers and stuff like that, it feels great. It should have had it at launch. And there's a lot of servers right now on BF4 that are claiming that they're like 120, 144 hertz, but then you load into them and you could see if it is or it isn't, and they're not. They're just lying. Like, I don't know why they're lying. Like, I don't know if they don't know how to set it up, or they're just trying to bait people in with like saying, oh yeah, we have a higher tick rate. Well, no, it's not. It's 30 hertz tick rate still. And it's fucking stupid that they're lying about it, or if they don't know what to do. And my other concern is Battlefront, because right now I believe the Battlefront beta is only running on a 30 hertz tick rate, and they need to implement these tick rate changes into Battlefront, in my opinion, at launch. Because if they're in BF4, I don't see any reason for them to not be in Battlefront.
Exactly right. So get it right from the get-go, and you'll have a really hot game, basically. So, we're getting a few reports on Star Citizen, and I kind of say, like, someone raised the point that they've raised. I think Skylar raised the point that they've raised 77 million today, and they've got a game that is barely playable, right? And that's, proof is in the pudding, right? Sometimes that, hey, we've put this amount of money into the game, and we don't even have a playable beta yet. You know
Yeah,
what I
they've
mean?
raised 90 million and they've spent about 82 million. So that's why they're saying they got about 8 million left. So that's why they're saying they're almost out of cash.
Well, that's it. So where's the so some of people are saying it's quite playable. I mean, I might have to actually try and see if I can get into the game.
It's
and
kind of
play it,
playable,
so.
but they don't have the full experience there yet. It's still kind of choppy. It's definitely like early like alpha phase. It's definitely not anywhere near close to being finished.
Okay.
I mean,
But
like,
how about how much content you can play? How much content of the game
not
would you be able to
enough.
play at the moment?
I mean, it depends. It's really. I mean, you can go around and play like pretty much forever, I guess. But it's just going to be doing a lot of the same stuff repeatedly, which is kind of why I eventually got bored with Elite Dangerous because a lot of it was repetitive after a while. Even though I enjoyed the gameplay on it, they didn't have enough in there. And they're adding in more stuff later, like now, like being able to land on the planets. They've started to work on that, so it's just a matter of the really finishing Star Citizen and actually getting it done. And it's a really ambitious project, and it's completely like fan funded. So
I mean, I
yeah,
don't think it's a scam. Like, I'm not going to say it's a scam.
no, definitely not.
mean,
I just think they have a really ambitious project, and they're
Yeah.
spending a lot of money. This has happened, before, like with games, film. You get a director in or whatever on a film, and they just have certain ambitions that exceed what the producers are willing to put out as far as money is concerned, and it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's basically what it's become. Is just, they're spending a ton of money making this game what it is, because nothing's been made this big before and this detailed.
I mean, there was a report that the owner bought a house with the crowd-funded money. Like, what? If that's true, is that true? Is that false?
What's that?
Like, there was in that report, in that article we pulled up, so there's claims that he went and bought a house with the crowd-funded money.
I don't know anything about that.
Like, I mean, if that's like, is that true or is that completely false? I mean, if that's got truth to it, then damn, man.
I have no idea. I wouldn't see to speculate about it, and I don't know if there's any factual basis about it.
So that's what I mean. It's like at the moment it's a big whirlwind, and the bottom line is if the game comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't come out, then hey, but the longer the game goes on, right? This is what we got to look at. We got to look at what we do know. The longer this game goes on, the more it's going to cost to produce. The less people are going to pay because they're getting fed up. So the onus is on them to get this game out as soon as possible, not just on their own best interests, but also in the best interests of the people. So, so that's it. That's all we can say is if whatever they're doing, they want to do it, hurry up and do it. So
yeah.
It's simple. So
yeah, this guy's Zero Neutral in the chat. He's obviously a very big fan of Star Citizen, very passionate about it. Saying it's not true that he bought the house, and he's also saying that it's illegal. Well, first off, it wouldn't be illegal. I mean, you get that money off of crowdfunding, you can take it and do whatever the fuck you want with it. I could start a Kickstarter tomorrow and say I want to build a rocket ship. I could get $1 million from people to build a rocket ship and then say, you know what, I don't feel like building a rocket ship anymore. And I could leave with $1 million. It's not illegal. Yeah. It's frowned upon. It's a dick move, but it's not illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole caveat with crowdfunding. That's why a lot of people don't like it. That's why I don't really particularly like it, because you have no guarantees there with that.
You're right, actually, about crowdfunding. It's not illegal. No, it isn't illegal. He can go and do what he wants with that money. You've signed there's no obligatory contract that you've signed with him that he's going to guarantee that you do this, or he's going to do this. He's just getting that money and do whatever he wants with it at the end of the day. It's not illegal. I'm a big follower. I support. I'm really a big fan of Star Citizen. Just I don't have time to mess around with games in alpha. Like, no way. If you guys wouldn't be getting tech videos if I was doing that.
Yeah, and I pay attention to way too many games and way too many areas of tech and gaming to be focused on one game. Because there are channels that do that. They say like, okay, I'm a Star Citizen channel, and I'm going to be all about Star Citizen. That's great. When I need information about those things, I will tune to those channels because there's certain people opinions that I respect on the matters. But I don't pretend to be a Star Citizen channel. I'm a fan of the project. I want to see where it's going to go, and just look at it as a consumer really and see if I enjoy it with the final product really.
And bottom line is, Joker's right. It's not illegal. He can use those funds any way he likes, pretty much. He can go on a holiday to the Morocco. It doesn't matter.
Just like if you give me money on Patreon or whatever, I could tell you that I'm going to use it to buy a new camera or to buy new lights for the videos, but I could really go and do whatever I want. I can go down to Atlantic City and spend it all on gambling, hookers, and cocaine. It's completely up to me. It's just like it's up to him to what he wants to do with his crowdfunding money.
Well, you look at the dude the Norton dude, yeah? Who was the antivirus guy? And he's just like,
there's been loads of people, man, devs that have been like, oh yeah, we're gonna make these games, and they release, they raise like 50 grand, and then they basically just re-release like a fucking batch of Unity assets they bought for $20 on Steam. It's
I mean, man, like I'm hard pressed to get $1 out of my subs, so like, and I'm giving you guys, I'm doing the best I can for you guys, It's not like I'm misusing cash, man. Like I'm buying cheap speakers here, man. These are $10 used speakers. I'm using my money as best as I can. So don't donate your money to Star Scissors and donate it to me, brothers. And you'll get that R9 390 review too. So that's just funny, yeah. So it's not illegal. Bottom line is, it's not illegal. I'm going to agree with Joker, man. It's not illegal. Google it. They can use that money pretty much. It doesn't matter what way you slice it. Get someone in who's an actual lawyer in the States, because they're based in the States, yeah.
Yeah.
Cloud Empyrean Games, yeah. So what's the laws for the States? I guarantee you they can do what they want with that money if it's crowdfunded.
Yep. I mean, you could argue. I mean, you crowdfunded him. He needs to support himself. A house is supporting himself. That's part of it.
Yeah.
If he's taking that crowdfunding to pay his rent so that he has a place to live while he's developing the game, that's all part of the cost of the project.
Yeah. So,
just like it's like a tax write-off. If I buy a camera, it's technically I could write that off as a tax because it's a business expense for me. That's all. Just it's expenses.
Some guy in the comments said, Joker's giving you money on Kickstarter, bro. Just go use it for hookers and coke.
I need hookers and coke, bro.
You need it. You need it to keep going.
Well, hey, man. If some guy started a Kickstarter to raise money to make a potato salad, I could start a hookers and coke Kickstarter. It's like, yeah, guys, I'd like to start a Kickstarter today just because I want to get lots of hookers and cocaine. Yeah. We're going to be going down. We're going to be going down.
Baldrick asks, how many more CPU generations to replace my 3570K at 4.8 gigahertz? That's a really nice overclock. I would say, like, honestly, I wouldn't be replacing that thing for a while. Yeah.
There's really no reason to.
What is it? It's a 4.8. What is it? Sorry, the 4870. Is that that's 8 threads? Yeah. Wait. Which CPU? Sorry, I got to get the CPU up again. 3570K. Okay, so 4-core, 4 threads. You're still good for another couple of years at least, man.
Oh yeah,
just
35. I had my 3570 in my old system. That thing was still going good this year. My buddy has it now with my old 2780s.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for what Skylake is, it's not impressive, man. Like, I'm enjoying it because it's something new to play with. Like, new CPU, new life. But honestly, it's a waste of money if you're on Haswell or you're on Ivy. That's the bottom line. If you're on Sandy, maybe. Even then, like if you've got your Sandy up to 4.8 gigahertz, waste of money. So, yeah. That's just my opinion.
Let's see here. Someone wanted to know my opinion on the Transformers game. Jesper, I actually played it earlier today. I'm going to be doing a video on it, I think. But so far, I really enjoy. I like the gameplay, the art style, voice acting, all that stuff is great. But it's not a great port, and I'm going to do a performance review on it basically and touch on why I think that is. But it's limited to 1080p. It's capped at 60 FPS. Keyboard mapping is not amazing. Default. So it definitely has some flaws as far as a PC port is concerned. But overall, it seems like a really solid game. Basically like Bayonetta with robots, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So I'm just telling them in the chat to donate to your Patreon, man. Like, they got to get on that.
Sluts, weed, and PCs, bro.
Yeah. The sad thing is, if you did that, like donate on my Patreon to support my hookers and blow addiction, you'd probably get people. Get more donors. You'd probably just get mad funds coming in, eh?
He's like, yeah, and every month on Skype we'll be doing a monthly Skype stream where you'll get to see me fuck hookers and do coke. It's going to be Patreon donors exclusive. So be sure to support the $50 tier for that. It's called the 8-ball tier.
Yeah.
You gotta get on the 8 ball tier if you want to get in on the streams monthly to watch me do hookers and coke. So make sure you do that, and then we'll also be having a gambling drive. You'll be able to bet on the raffle. Just pick the date that I have a heart attack and die from doing all the hookers and coke. So it's gonna be interesting to see when that happens as well. But you could win the raffle to support on Patreon.
All right, so let's go. Let's get a few more questions before we go. I got like 5 minutes, so let's get a few more questions from the audience.
We had some people asking about Nintendo, the state of them right now. Basically, coming down to the end of this year, they basically have fuck all. They were going to be doing a Nintendo game Nintendo game, Star Fox game that got delayed. So Nintendo is basically out in the wind at this point with their dicks in their hands, with nothing to fucking do. And they're just shaking the fucking Nintendo cup, just like, come on guys, like, can we get a couple crumbs? It's like, hey, maybe if you guys let YouTubers actually make content around your games, then that would happen. Because I reckon they'd be able to get by just on Mario Maker, because that people are all over that game, but everyone's just doing it on. Everyone's just Twitch streaming it, because if you do it on YouTube, you owe Nintendo like fucking half your paycheck.
Yeah, that's true. So you got to be careful with Nintendo. It's funny though with Twitch, you can just stream with like copyrighted music and everything. Doesn't matter.
Pretty much.
Like, what's the deal behind that? Why are they allowed to do like you're allowed to make money off using copyrighted music? That's kind of I don't understand it.
Well, it's not even the music, just it's even their visual assets. I mean, if you play Mario, they bring a claim on you for playing Mario, and without paying them, you got to pay them part of your money.
Okay.
After YouTube has already taken something off the top, you got to then pay them for the visual assets of Mario or whatever.
Yeah, so all right, so what do I think about the G30? What do you think about the G3258 Joker?
The which one?
The Pentium.
Oh, I've never tried it, but I've heard good things.
I've tried. I can give you a quick rundown, Rapper. I mean, the 3258 is great value for money, right? You can get that thing on the stock cooler. You can overclock it to like 4 gigahertz on a cheap-ass motherboard. It's good value for money, but as some people have pointed out, there are games coming out with these 4-thread requirements, even though the Pentium is able to run the game fine. So you got to be careful with that, though. If you're just playing like, CSGO, Dota 2, all these games, the 3258 is going to be a great CPU. StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void, bang. So, 3258 is going to be a go-to CPU, though. I would probably just grab an i3 and call it a day, though.
Yeah.
To be honest, the i3 4160 is a really cheap CPU, and for what it can do, is good. So it's up to you. It's up to you what games you want to play.
Let's see, Munfur, I want to say, what games are you guys talking about that was 60 FPS capped 1080p? It's Transformers Devastation, yeah. But it's like built in the art style of the 80s show, like literally, like it's like being inside the 80s TV show, the cartoon, which is it's really cool, and that kind of makes it kind of worth it for that alone. And
well, that was my biggest gripe with the Transformers movies, man. They mutilated some of those characters, like the Constructicons. What the,
And they've got they got all of the original voice actors, man. They had Starscream right at the beginning, like, I'm Starscream, your new leader. I fucking awesome. Love that voice actor, man.
I love Star. They mutilated him in the movies.
Prime. Leader of the Autobots.
I gotta play this game, right? And they mutilated those characters in the movies. That was my biggest gripe. They got Optimus pretty well. They
had the original voice actor for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's back in the game. That guy doesn't do anything besides play Optimus. That's all he has to do. He does Optimus, and he's a movie voiceover guy, like coming this summer. That guy. He's one of those guys. Like Don LaFontaine.
Yeah. Do that again.
Coming this summer. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Little Tortilla Boy.
That's pretty good, actually. I like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're coming up on our time here, so I guess we got to go ahead and get out of here. Yeah, you got it.
But Pram!
Hey, you were supposed to wear a fucking suit and jacket, man, this week. What happened?
It's cold, actually. I thought about it. I was like, nah, it's pretty cold when I wake up. And I couldn't be bothered turning my heater on. It's just going to be like in the background, so... I'll save that till later, in a later stream. So, people, you hated Starscream in the car. How could you hate Starscream? He was like one of the best characters.
He was like Megatron's like little sidekick who always wanted to be Megatron, but just couldn't. He just always kept failing at it. He's like, I'm going to be the new leader. I'm like, no, you just failed, man. Like, shit.
As your new Decepticons, as your new leader.
Nice try.
That's it. Right, I love Starscream.
Awesome. Starscream's a legend, bro. My favorite Decepticon.
He's a boss, yeah.
All right,
and then the
guys.
Constructicon. So
Yeah, but let's
Yeah,
let's
go
go
on.
ahead and get on out of here and take out the show. Thank you guys for
yeah,
coming to hang out with us and all that good stuff. And don't forget to support on Patreon so we can get more hookers and coke.
yeah, that's
Links
it.
for that.
Go to Joker's
Yep.
Patreon, guys.
Yep.
He's gonna change the title to Hookers and Blow
yep,
Fun.
links are down
Yeah.
in the description below, and I'm going to change the title on there so it doesn't say Tech and Gaming anymore. It's going to say Joker is creating hookers and blow. So
That's it.
don't forget
Support
to
him on Patreon. He's just changing his tune now. He needs money for Hookers and Blow.
Yep, we're not supporting the channel anymore. We're not getting any more tech. Hookers and blow. That's it. 24/7. So
That's
support
it.
on Patreon for that. And I guess we'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Tura.
Ta-da.